Okay, are you able to see me? All right. All right, I'm live now. Good. Okay. All right, can you hear me okay? That's not going to work. Hold on a second. Great. Welcome, guys. Give me 1 second here. That's not going to work. Bear with me. It's a little dizzying, I know. And we go like that. All right, that'll work. Okay, there we go. Phew. Phew, super indeed. All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate that. I don't know what's happened with my stream there. I'm gonna have to. I gotta fix this. I'm having some tech issues on my end, and I know it's totally user error. So I'm gonna have to do a little research and figure out exactly what I'm doing wrong. All right, welcome everyone. Okay, so I'm working on the Hasegawa FA18. This is it so far. Painted, mostly got a gloss coat going. I say mostly because at about half an hour, well, yeah, about 40 minutes at this point. About 40 minutes ago, I decided to take care of some issue with painting. So you'll see here it's a little flat. And what happened was I put a decal on that was actually incorrect. Let me go into that a little bit. So I'm working with these bullseye decals, doing the sunlighters. I'm gonna do the CAG insignia, which I thought was pretty cool looking. And I was missing this page. There's a whole separate page. There's about 3 pages here of for the decals. I was missing this page that showed the actual walkway. I hadn't been able to find it for days, so I decided, okay, at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Hasegawa walkways, which are black and have little like separations in them. So I applied those this morning. I was really happy with it. And then, of course, I find this decal sheet, which shows me a whole different look on the walkways. They should be a grayish color. It actually says here they should be a Euro 1 gray. And the pattern looks decidedly, or looks pretty different than the Hasegawa black decals. So I said, okay, let me just fix it. I didn't just spray paint over or just airbrush over them. As we know with decals, there's kind of like a rid or a kind of step, right? Because they're they sit high on the model. So I decided to, they were all dry and everything ready to go. I decided to sand them down with some sandpaper and get that step to be level. Worked out really well. So then I airbrushed over the black. And airbrushed in a way where the black is still showing in some moments to sort of mimic the modeling that I had done on the paint job around the whole vehicle. Okay, so that was a problem that I had and was able to come up with a quick solution. So I've tried to remove decals before. I don't know. Give me a thumbs up if you've ever attempted this, where you put a decal down. Maybe you put the Solvaset or the decal sol down, and then you're like, okay, I got to remove them. I've done that before, and it's just almost never successful. So I decided at this point to just always let them dry if I need to take them off, and then just sand them down, and then paint over. I find that if I sit there and I try to add water to them or try to add more solve a set, it just starts to ruin the rest of the paint job. So if I can just let it dry and then sand just in that area without messing the rest of the paint job, it's easier to deal with. It's a little too bright, I think. All right, cool. Welcome. Thanks for joining me, everyone. We're gonna put some decals on. I'm gonna just deal with the decals that are going to be on the glossier areas. I did start to put on the slime lights here. I can actually see a little silvering here, so I'm gonna have to poke some of those bubbles and continue with the, I think I'm using Mark Fit. Yeah, the Mark Fit Strong, the Tamiya product. I can see a little silvering here too, so I'll keep working these down just to make sure they're snug, but they're, at this point, that's all I've got on since the walkways had to be redone. All right, I did want to show you another thing I was working on. I got the exhaust for the back, and I bought the really nice set, the res kit, aftermarket resin pieces that I was working on the other time. By the way, speaking of resin, I got this nice mask. I did have another mask, but I just, it was always cumbersome because I had a big face portion on it, but I think this will be a little bit easier for me to work with. So, yeah, happy about that. And also you can see back here, I've got an airbrush station that I'm really, really happy about. Got it exhaust going out, and the fumes go out into my window right here. Everything is set up really nicely. So I'm really, really pleased. I can actually do some airbrushing for my videos, which is going to be nice. Anyway, let's get back to those. So I was using the resin Res Kit brand, and they were looking all nice and fantastic. And then I said, okay, well let me put them on the back here and take a look. And they were very short. And it's not just short, but actually the Hasegawa kit, they're not tapered exactly. They're a little bit more of a kind of an ovalish kind of shape. So I built up plastic on the back end of the other ones and started to realize that no matter how much plastic I was building up, I was actually causing a lot of problems with the fit of all the inside of the exhaust. There were all kinds of issues I was going to have. And I decided, okay, I'm just going to go with the kit ones, which also were very short, and I had to build these up with 2 rather thick layers of plastic. So, but they look okay now. So what you see here is actually not just the kit part, but also there's a whole 2 layers of plastic that I was able to scribe and get. I think they look pretty nice. It's practically impossible to tell that there's any seam there. So, and then you can see I've filled them in with some 2-part epoxy. I'm trying to remember what the epoxy's name is that I use. It's not exactly, doesn't matter. I put it away, but it's kind of like a clay. Anyway, so that's going to be for the FOD cover. I was looking at some examples, and they're kind of a fabric material or like a plastic material. Kind of like a tarp. And so you can see here, I kind of mimicked the look of the tarp. Put these little lines in there. And then I'll use some foil to make little handles that they have on these as well. And so I think the fit is going to work out well. I might have to kind of, this one is a little bit more oblong than the other. So there's a point where I keep twisting it and it looks just right. So once I find that, I'll be really happy with it. And then these covers will eventually be painted red. And like I said, all these little handles on them. And then I also have covers I'm going to make covers for the front. I'm going to use some, oh, here it is. This sealant tape that we use for like pipes and stuff. And I've seen this guy, I watched this guy on this YouTube video where this guy did it. and stretched them around and cut them to the right shape and then painted them. They looked really, really good. So I'm going to do that, the FOD covers on the front. So anyway, I'm not, I'm kind of bummed out that I thought it was like $20 for the res kit aftermarket cans, but I think I'll use them for a future kit. And actually these turned out pretty nice. I could have spent a little more time doing rivets, but I'm actually really pleased with how these turned out. And ultimately, kind of being forced to have to use FOD covers it sort of justifies having them on the front. Now I have them on the front and the back. So I'm happy with that, how that's kind of ultimately turned out, even though it wasn't the original plan. Yeah, Model Tank Guy, it never works out. Yeah, the removing decals. Yeah. So from now on, I'm just going to let them dry and then sand them down the best I can. And I think, the proof's in the pudding here. I think it worked out really nice. So I think that's going to be the way to go, the way to remove them. All right. Had a lot of fun with the underside here. Yeah. It's going to have a wash, and I think once it has a wash, it's going to really bring out some of these details. Looking at my references, though, some of these wires, were black and silver, and so I painted those up. But there's just a lot of white in there. I didn't go too crazy. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I did want to show you the fuel can, or the fuel, yeah. I think these look pretty good. I'm going to have 3 on, ultimately. I believe only the centerline fuel tank had the emblem and the blue on the tip. So I'm just going to put these other 2 on the side. They're not going to have anything, any markings on them. They're just going to be sort of extra cans that they, had. And they'll just sit up there. And just, that's all I'm going to have. I'm not going to have any armament. I can talk about that for a second. I went through a phase where I wasn't doing any armament for a while. I think it was just a matter of, it was something extra in the model that I just didn't want to deal with. So I just didn't put missiles or bombs or anything on. And then I built an A10 and was never satisfied with it. And I always looked at it and I was always trying to figure out exactly what was wrong. And it just never looked like an A10 because I had nothing on the pylons. No ECM pods, nothing. And I realized that was a huge mistake. What's another example? It would be like having an F-14 with no Phoenix missiles on it, right? Just after a while, was I realizing that it just didn't look right, So I've decided that I'm going to put the armament on the vehicles where if that armament is not, it's kind of like iconic to the aircraft to have that armament on it. And this aircraft, sidewinders on the tips, the wing tips would be great, but these wingtip pylons actually look really good to me, and they almost mimic the Sidewinder missiles. So I decided not to put anything on the edge, but I did decide to have these fuel tanks because to me, when I look at the F-18 and I see the cans on it, these fuel tanks, it looks just so much better to me. It looks like it's part of the aircraft, So, yeah, the A10, I guess you're probably talking about the A10. The A10 must be loaded to the teeth. I completely agree. Yeah, so that was a good learning experience for me. I mean, at the very least, I didn't even put the ECM, that big old white ECM pod on it, which is it's iconic. And that was a huge mistake. I did do a nice job on the pylons, and I did a nice job on the little mounting grips. I'm not exactly sure what they're called, but the little mounts where the armament goes on. I went and made my own and made them really, really nice. But yeah, that was a good lesson to learn. And so from then on, like my SU-25 Frogfoot's got those little rocket launch pods on them. I've got fuel tanks on my Harrier that looks right. I've got fuel tanks on the Mirage. It doesn't look right without them. So yeah, luckily I made that change. got smart about it. Model Tank Guy. Yeah, 32nd scale A10 for later build. Outstanding. Who makes the 32nd scale A10? I believe there's new Great Wall. Great Wall, I think, has 48 scale A10Cs coming out. I think it's actually later this month or next month. Thank you, Alexander. I appreciate it. Yeah. I would like to see an A10A, a new A10A. Actually, I was looking into a little bit. I believe there's not much of a difference between the A10A and the A10C. Because I always love the, I guess, like the lizard camo scheme. I think that's what they call it. The green, the gray, that camo. I just, for some reason, I cannot get into the gray camo, the all gray camo for the A10. It just doesn't look right to me. I'm an 80s, 90s kid, so I build the vehicles and how they looked when I was a kid. And I don't know. So I don't know that I could ever do anything A10C wise. Oh, trumpeter. Got it. Okay. Very cool. All right. I think I'm going to dig in here and start doing some decals, and hopefully you're at home building as well. If you are, if you could let me know what you're currently working on, I'd appreciate that. Let me know in the chat. All right, let's go with something fun. You know what? Let's get the 400 on the wing. Might as well. Okay, all right. Yeah, these are nice decals. There's a lot of smaller, the smaller markings. The call-outs on these instructions are the only drawback. They're just not that great. They don't have numbers associated with them. They don't even, have attachment points to the numbers. They don't even say like, well, this one goes here and that. It's a little bit, I don't know. I just wish there was a little bit more direction for you. I'm just used to that, I suppose. All right, so let's go 400. This will be on the flap. And it's just one on the top, on the left side, and that's it. There's a lot of decals here, but there's really, it's for the whole squadron, the Desert Storm. There was a pretty famous, they were pretty famous for what they did. They actually shot down 2 MiGs as they were on a mission. I forget exactly what their mission was, but then they also completed their mission as well as taking out these 2 MiGs. So it was kind of a big event for the squadron. But there's enough decals here for two whole models, so that's pretty cool. And I definitely plan on building more FA-18s. I talked about that in my video. I never really liked the vehicle until I went to a hobby store. At this point, it's about a month ago. So I went to a hobby store and was just like, I saw the kit, I saw the box, and I was like, I gotta have that. I don't know why, but I gotta have it. And I'm now in love with the FA-18. But before I build another one, I'm going to pull Alexander. Fantastic. Yeah, I've got one here, actually, that I just got at the contest 2 weeks ago. The Showtime 100, the Hasegawa kit. I'll be building that one pretty soon, too. Very cool, Alexander. Which company is it? Connor, the man working on Striker M1128. Love it. Yeah, I love the Strikers. I've got 3 here now. I know I built another. I built a 1126. Was the very first one I did. I ended up, oh, that's what happened. My shelf fell. And I dropped about 8 models. This was years ago. So made it sound like a long time ago. Maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. And 2 of them were just like irreparable. The rest were like, okay. I was like, oh, thank God. But the striker was one that just it took it too big of a hit. And I was like, okay. But I ended up building. Yeah, I've got 3 more sitting here. Yeah, 1128, 1132, and I think a 1136. I think is what it was. Love the striker. I'm actually really proud of the striker I did. I think it was the 1134. Oh, 1134. That's it. I got best of show. My only best of show was for that one. I was so stoked. I feel like I know that vehicle pretty well at this point. And what's fun is I really only like the AFE Club kits. I compared the AFE Club side by side with the Trumpeter. I had the Trumpeter kit, and the look of the AFE Club looked better to me. But if you're building a Trumpeter, I'm not knocking anybody. But the AFE Club kit, the first 2 axles should be able to turn left or right. That's how you steer the vehicle. And so I know how to clip the axles in such a way to be able to turn the wheels, both sets of axles, which is a lot of fun to do. So I've got one where they're just straight. I got another one left, another one turning to the right, just to get some practice. And I think I have a video, if you're interested, my striker video, where I talk about, at the beginning, I talk about moving those axles and how to do it. Razor Crest by AMT, very cool. Wow, I love that. Fun stuff. Okay, I think this decal may be ready to go. Let's take a look here. Yep, add a little more water to it. This is going to go on the tip back here. Let me prepare a little bit. Ooh, knocking this thing around. The better brush. All right. Actually, I'm going to stick with the Tamiya products for now. I have some microsol coming. I haven't used microsol in years and decided to just go ahead and order some and work with it again. I like the Salva set by Walthers, this stuff, but I found it's very strong for some decals. And so I want to try something new. And by new, I mean try something old. So I'm going to go back to the microsol, at some point and give them another shot. All right, let's continue working. Oh, it's got. All right. Oh, yeah, I can use this one. I'm mixing myself up here. We're good. All right. It's kind of right up to the edges here. Now I believe it should be, the flaps are at an angle, but the insignia is straight across, or the number is straight across. Yeah, that looks right. Just give a little bit more. What I'm looking at is making the parallel, this part of the 4 here, this line parallel to the end of the flap here. I think that looks right. Okay, good. We're going to go with that. All right, that was easy. And I'll let it sit a little bit before I deal with any more mark fit. I do want to get some bubbles out. Kind of roll them out. That'll work. I was pretty happy with the radome yellow color here. I just looked at some references and then mixed some Tamiya yellow and white, and I'm really pleased how it turned out. I didn't have to like, you know, adjust it all. It was just the first time it just went. So, yeah, it worked out well. All right. So it's just that one. Oh, you saw the video. Cool, Connor. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do another striker at some point. It's all the variation is on the surface of the vehicle, right? But it's just, I don't know. There's something that's just. First of all, they just look freaking cool. Oh, you know, yeah, they just look freaking cool. That's exactly what it is. I also have a cousin who served, and he told me, you know, I remember when the strikers were kind of coming out, and they were kind of like, I can't remember if they were excited about getting into them or if they weren't. But he mentioned that the strikers were in use at that point. And just ever since then, I always just come in like, okay, well, I'll build a striker for him in a way. Yeah. All right. What else do I need to do? Okay, let's put that one away. All right, I'm going to deal with these. I guess they're Fleur pods or Fleur panels, whatever. Yeah, I think that's what they are. And it looks like we need to use, I'm actually going to turn the whole thing around just to kind of match my instructions here, just show you. They're asking for this one to be yellow and this one to be the white, and then we're going to put the black on top of them. Okay, so I'm going to get those colors down first. There we go. All right. I'm going to do one at a time. I feel like these might be a little bit finicky. So let's just start with the yellow first. All right. And I'm not going to put the black on until these are well dry. Let me know what time it is where you are. Over here it is 8:07 p.m. Monday night. Oh, happy Canada Day to my Canadian folks. Give a thumbs up if you're in Canada right now. And then we have our Thursday coming up, which is 4th of July. We're having a party at my house, having some friends and family over. Our house is situated on a hill, so we have a good view of essentially the city of San Jose, where if you're familiar with San Jose at all, or Northern California, fireworks are a big deal here. Completely illegal, but that doesn't stop anybody. So we're going to sit outside our balcony with our friends and family and watch the fireworks. And probably not hear them because they're a ways away. Oh, Arnell, hey man, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Very cool. California, exactly. It hit 100 here, I believe. And I think it's going to be 100 for the rest of the week. So, yeah. Yep. Model Tank Guy, 9:07 p.m. Yep, Canada, right on, bud. 11:08 p.m. Connor the Native Man. Yeah, 102. Is that what it? Oh, okay. That's miserable. We are fortunate enough to have air conditioning in our house. However, I completely empathize with the rest of our San Jose friends who do not. It is miserable. Completely understand. Canada guys, you probably have no idea what we're talking about. It's the opposite for you. Has it ever been 100 in Canada? I'm curious. Let's see. 5. Make sure I'm going the right direction here. This is going to be nasty, actually. I don't actually really don't like this decal for this. Okay, another option is to just simply paint them, because I don't know how this is going to work. Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry guys, I'm going to back out on that one. We're not going to use decals for those. I'm going to let them sit in the corner, let them dry. If I ever need to again, of course, we have a second set of them here. But for this, I'm just going to airbrush it and then come back at it with the black decal. All right. I know, like, putting a decal. This is a photo etched grill, and I'm just not feeling good about how it's going to work. Yeah. Anyway. 38 degrees, you got 1 year. Okay, now, is it Celsius or Fahrenheit? Because I don't know the calculation. Yeah, you work in Palo Alto. Holy moly, 103. Hopefully there's air conditioning where you are or no. All right, let's keep going. Pushing forward. I could just sit here and talk the whole time, but I don't think it's fun for anybody. All right. All right. Let's go back to fun stuff. Oh yeah, Alexander, Florida. Yep, 110. And is it humid over there? I visited Florida once, and I think I remember it being humid. Not as humid as when I was in New York. That was terrible. I'm sorry. I'm never going back to New York. That was terrible. Not even just the temperature. I just didn't like the place at all. Like we went to Central Park, and like that's it for nature. Like I was just so disturbed emotionally in that place. I just did not like it at all. Yeah, I'm surrounded. You know, in San Jose, it's a city, but we're surrounded by trees, and there's just they don't have that in the city. You have a swamp. Yep. You sure do. Okay. Arnell, thanks, bud. 38 degrees Celsius. Yeah, 104. Okay. But I don't know if he's talking about Celsius. Hello, Gustavo. Good evening to you. Everybody's letting us know what time it is where they are. So it's 8:13 p.m. here, and it hit 102. So we're talking about weather and temperature, and if you can fill us in what's going on in your stomping ground. And I'm very slowly working on decals here. All right. All right, let's go with the 400 up front on the starboard side. Why not? Yeah, we got the decal almost ready anyway. And it's this sort of black and I guess that's the blue, or is it black? Yeah, black. No, it's blue. Blue and orange color. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I want to make sure I've got the numerals. See, that some of them are sort of slanted, and they go in different directions. So we want to be careful about which one we're doing. I noticed that with the fuel tank. Slanting one side, and then, yeah, to the left, and then to the right here. Yeah, slanting on a different side. Yeah. Fuel tank's working out pretty good. You can see I did some mottling. Trying to use the word properly here. The T's. Effect here. This is nothing to the kind of damage these things are going to have. So this one I'm going to keep fairly clean. I'll do some weathering to it, but I think these I want to go kind of crazy on them. I like when you see fuel tanks that have like scratches in them. I'm going to try to mimic that as well. But these things are reused constantly, and so I like the idea of weathering them pretty heavily. In fact, one of them I might even go for more of a yellowish shade or a kind of a different gray. Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, now you're going to eventually build Trumpeter 35th M1127 Striker. Excellent. Yeah, I was just talking about Strikers. Love them. I've got three of them in this room right now. Yeah, I'm going to build the CAG. Absolutely. The other ones, look pretty cool, but they look like standard, FA-18s. I want to go for something a little more colorful. The reason I bought this kit and the reason I had any interest initially in the FA-18 was this kit. And these decals kind of stuck out to me on the box art. I look at them now and I'm like, they look kind of, I know it's supposed to, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be an eagle, but it looks like a duck to me. And so I just kind of grew out of the interest of this particular CAD, but I decided that I still wanted to go with a relatively colorful F-18. So Aflac, totally. So I decided these would look good. There are very colorful CAGs out there for the F-18, but kind of decided on these ultimately for this particular model. But I will definitely do more colorful ones in the future because I'm really starting to like the Hornet. There is a particular low vis Tomcat that I want to do. It's actually the Tomcatters. And it's the low vis that I really, really like. I had a Verlinden book about the F-14 and I don't know. I obsessed over those photos for years and years. And so I found the decals and decided my first Tomcat will be with those low vis decals. With the cat, carrying the bomb. I think that's the Tomcatters. I think that's what they're called. Could be wrong. Yeah, sun bleaching on the fuel tanks, absolutely. All that wear. I'm gonna do that on the two that'll be on the wing pylons. This is nothing. These are clean as far as I'm concerned. But I kind of put them all through the process initially, just to kind of see how, just to kind of get them to match at first. Yeah. Oh, Gustavo, Brazil, Southeast Brazil. Fantastic. Yeah, you have to say Southeast, right? It's a large country. You got to be kind of specific. I didn't go to Brazil, but I got to visit Chile and Argentina. I worked with a local youth symphony and helped them out in their percussion section. And so I got to perform in several venues in Argentina and Chile. It was a lot of fun. Really, really neat place. Ultimate project to do VF213 and a VFA213 black lines. Very cool. Arnell, I don't think I've ever seen any of your builds, man. We gotta trade some pictures. All of 148. Yeah. I wanna see, man. I wanna see some of your builds. That'd be great. Cool. It's 015 here. Yeah. 0, 0, 15. 0 dark 15. You're working 2 jobs. Okay. Hope you're doing all right, man. All right, decals. It's so fun to just chat. All right, so we kind of fold it over. You gotta be careful here. Yeah, these don't take too long to get loose from the backing paper. All right, so we're gonna clear this guy out of the way a little bit. Just get a little water on there. Pretty good. Looks like it's right up to that slam light. I always do kind of wonder about decal instruction sheets. You know, how accurate they are as far as positioning of decals. If they're not accurate, it'd be nice if they just kind of let us know, because I do trust them sometimes a little too much. But yeah. Maybe it ultimately doesn't really matter. Oh, not really able to show you here. Okay, there we go. Just take my time. All right, that'll work. Yeah, they're definitely more colorful FA18s, but and the newer ones, especially the growlers and stuff, and the FA18Fs, and yeah, there's a lot of great stuff to do. I really wanted to do an early version before I did anything else. I don't know, the boxy exhausts or intakes just don't do it for me. All right. I want to stay away from the cockpit area because, as I said before, I needed to repaint that area, and so it still needs a gloss coat before I deal with any other decals. Actually, I also need to paint on the walkways, so I'm just going to avoid that area for now. In fact, yeah. I think we're okay if I do the decals directly underneath it, because all I need to do with the paint is really mask off this area, airbrush, peel off the, yeah, it's not gonna, and then do some gloss. Okay, it's not gonna interfere at the bottom of the aircraft. All right, so let's go ahead and go with the stars and bars next. I want to make sure I'm going with the right shade. It's not the darker one, it's the lighter one. Just double check. Well, actually, they're not distinguishing between the two. Where is that? No, these are all showing light. Oh, guys, what am I supposed to do here? Light, light. These vehicles didn't have any on the wings. It says here, all of our reference shows that none of the VFA 81 jets had any national insignias on the tops or bottoms of the wings. So the darker ones aren't. I'm just wondering where this one here goes. There are some vehicles with a darker emblem on the wing, but I'm not seeing the same color change on the emblem here on any of the decal sheets. Damn. See these, you can see here, none of them are dark. It's these kinds of like discrepancies that always like kind of tick me off because then I don't know what I can trust and what I can't trust. I do have one or two photos of the actual aircraft, but I'm certain none of them are of this angle. I believe they're all from the top. Unless they go somewhere else I'm just not seeing. Let's take another look here. Is there anywhere here where I see the dark? It would make sense that they would go along with these ones, the ones with the darker emblem here. But then it could also, the CAD could also have a darker color, right? All right. Well, I'm gonna pause there. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna go on to something else. Revell monogram, Battlestar Galactica Colonel Viper. Fantastic. Yeah, I built that one. Yeah, the older one. Loved it. That was a fun kit. All right, Alexander, you have a great night, man. Yeah, building more and purchasing less. Yeah. You've been actually really good about purchasing less, except for the last month. Once summer hit, I've been going crazy, and I don't know. I've been making purchases that I'm like impulse buys, you know. Yeah. I got into a bad habit this month. I've got some on a list where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna, buy. Just like I don't even like think about it. I want them. I know I'm gonna build them at some point. And there's just so many great kits out right now. Even the older stuff. It's just like, I don't know. It's just such a fun hobby. It's hard to like not be thinking about, years from now building more. All right. I'm totally stalling here. All right, we deal with the starboard side rear of the vehicle. Let's do that. At some point here, I need to start adding some Mark Fit Strong to some of these decals. And then also I said that there was some silvering occurring on my other slime lights, so I need to take care of that as well. All right, let's go with the navy sign. There's only one color. It's the lighter one. I was going to say something about the colors ultimately. My colors here, I've been really kind of examining a lot of references, and these vehicles are all basically two shades, right? Sort of like the light gull gray and the dark gull gray. Yeah, the 116, yeah. That's a problem I didn't even think about with the 116s. Not only are they big and they take a bunch of space on your workbench and your cabinets, but also they're pricier. I didn't even think about that. Good Lord. Andy's Hobbies, man. Andy's Hobby Headquarters. They're killing you guys. I understand they're going to open one in Canada, too. I saw that recently. Holy moly. Sorry, Model Tank Guy. All right. Yeah, as long as the wife doesn't see them. That's, my wife's very supportive of this. Now, if I talk about models, she zones out, right? But if I mention or she sees a model that I purchased, she's actually not, it's not a big deal because she has her hobbies too. So I think it's like, well, I gotta let him, otherwise, he'll stop what I'm doing. So I think we we both understand where we're coming from with our hobbies. Like she looks at me, she's like, I bought something I shouldn't have. And I'm like, I hear you, you know. Yeah. Yeah, finally. Andy's store. Yeah, I'm very fortunate that my wife supports me in this. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the paint. So I've been checking my references, and yours okay? I buy and she likes to see them. Oh, that's great. Yeah, she likes to see them built. I gotcha. Yeah. My wife couldn't care less if they get built. Like, I used to like show her the build, you know. Look at what I sanded, or I got the fuselage half, you know, fuselage halves together, and she, you know, doesn't care. So I'm at the point now where I keep it in my room until the model's done. Then I bring the whole thing out, and then she's like, "Oh, very nice, you know, very cool," and then that's it. No more interest. Yeah, as long as at least it's not booze or drugs. That's a good point. That's there are lots of things much worse than this hobby that we could be spending that money on. I mean, there's other hobbies that are more expensive than this anyway. So yeah, it's, you know, pretty tame considering. Let's see if that works. All right, that'll work. This navy emblem goes here. Anyway, checking my references. Yeah. And I've been noticing a lot of photos where the grays look a lot lighter than what I achieved here. But there are, I didn't get that blue low enough, I think. All right, I'm gonna scratch that out of that. Let's not do that. Okay. So I keep looking at my references, and yeah, I think the colors are pretty darn close. I think I got pretty close to them. I don't like using sort of pre-made colors. I like mixing Tamiya. There's a lot of contours here. And so that's usually what I do. I just mix my Tamiya paints and just try to get, you know, looking at my references. Okay, I think that'll be fine. The blue needed to continue down a little bit lower, and I think I kind of missed the mark. I don't think I quite got it far enough. But at this point, obviously, I'm just not gonna worry about it. All right, that'll work. Right about there, pretty much centered. Oh, wipe out. Anyway, yeah, the color. Like I said, the blue looks right. The grays. This one's a little more bluish to me, so that's what I'm saying. That the grays look right. If you're looking at certain photographs, the ones where they're in flight and maybe you're looking down on top of the aircraft and it's very bright. That to me it looks like it's the same color. It's just a lot brighter because of the sun hitting it. So I'm pretty convinced that I have the color pretty close. Again, it's a little bit darker because we're dealing with a gloss finish right now. But once you get the dull coat on there, everything will lighten up a bit anyway. All right, we're definitely going to have some contour issues here, so I'll be cutting a bunch of this or poking this with a knife at some point, and then using some of our Mark Fit Strong. Okay, let's see next. Let's go with the intake. All right. Okay, here's what I'm seeing. Going back to the American emblem light gray or dark gray. At the exhaust here, we have the dark gray, and then what looks like light gray, okay? Dark, light, light, dark, dark, light. the one that I'm doing appears to be light. So I'm just going to go, with the lighter gray on the whole vehicle at this point. I'm not going to go with the darker one. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go to that emblem now and just sort of go with it. Yeah, Tamiya paints are versatile. Agreed. Oh yeah, Connor, that's right. You do reenacting. I can imagine that's expensive. The uniforms and all the equipment you need. Yeah, and you're going for accuracy, so there's your level of accuracy is probably based on how much you can put towards it, money wise. All right. They're not Firetown or Furball. They're Bullseye. They're pretty good. I've never worked with them before, but I'm liking them. And they have a lot of information here, which I really liked. There's also some decals for the landing gear and for the ejection seat. So I thought, again, I never worked with them before, but I felt pretty confident. I did see some level of research. And so, yeah. And also I really wanted to do the Desert Storm, and I just couldn't find Firetown decals or Furball for those. I worked with some Furball decals when I did my A6, which I didn't finish. It's on the shelf of doom over here. But those were pretty nice decals. I enjoyed those. Yeah, I never heard of them either. So, Cartograph, which is always good too. Cartograph decals. So yeah, it says Model Aviation, Bullseye Model Aviation. Pretty cool. And like I said, there's two sets in here, so I could do one of the other low vis schemes at some point. All right, and yeah, they're pretty. They're not thick, and they're responding well to the Mark Fit Strong. Yeah, I'm liking them. The slime lights were the Hasegawa ones. I decided to use the Hasegawa just because I really wanted to make sure that they fit well. And for some reason, I was just getting a little bit worried about the size of these, though I might have had nothing to worry about. So anyway, decided to mix and match a little bit here. All right, get a little bit more. All right, stay on the starboard side here. The stand I'm working with, I'm not sure where it's from. My wife got it for me as a gift here a couple years ago. It appears to be a 3D print. It's been working pretty well. I did have to put little pieces of foam on it, just so it wouldn't scratch from plastic to plastic. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to get one of these, they're pretty nice. Okay. All right. Review here. Oh, I see. I can bring it forward. Let's try that real quick. Oh, I don't have my head. They're adjustable. Not much better. All right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to place it down and then I'll let you see the adjustment. Let's get a little more water on it. Right about here. We were in Disneyland this last week, so that's why I don't have a video out. Yeah. Should have one by the end of this week, though. An update on this build. All right. Oh, gosh. Come on, Jason. Anybody here talk to themselves as they build? Or do anything? I definitely do. Which I guess works well for live streaming. All right, bring it down a little bit here. Let's use the plastic ones. There you go. A little more control. Yeah, I got 3 kids, so Disneyland trips. Disney's a big part of our household anyway. But yeah, I can't really do anything else. I can't do anything model related. Otherwise, I totally would be bringing like kits and stuff to work on. But yeah. All right, I'm looking at the color now of the decal and noticing it is matching pretty darn well with the color I have on top. So that's nice. That's nice. Again, assuming this will this is actually the right color. Yeah, I'm pleased with how it's working out. It looks like the navy color, which should be matching this gray, is pretty bright compared to that gray. So I did actually go back and lighten this gray up. I probably needed to do a bit more though, according to these decals. But, you know, that's just the way it is sometimes. You don't get a perfect match. I feel like I need to bring the navy down on the left just a little bit here. Okay, I'm just going to leave it there. All right, I'm going to add a few more here. Let's try to keep pushing forward. Yeah, let's go with the Saratoga name. The blue. Okay. Oh, Caracal decals. Yeah. Demo F16C Retro. Are you talking about the red, white, and blue F16, Arnell? And Arnell, mostly listen to classical, or you mostly listen to music. Sorry, no classical while building. Ha. Yeah, that's fair. I actually don't listen to music. I put on like other YouTube videos and stuff, or I've got Netflix in this room too. So occasionally try to put on movies that I'm familiar with, so I don't actually have to watch them. I can just hear them. Yeah. Yes. Oh, shoot. All right. So they actually have them. I didn't realize that Caracal had those. Because and also I thought it was an F16A. Is it an F16C? The one where it has the red and the blue and the white, and on the white it says like F16. I thought it was A for some reason, but I could be wrong. That's very cool. You know what? Honestly, if those are available, and you're maybe waiting on them you've ordered them and you're waiting for them to show up, or you're waiting for them to create them. Because if they have those, I will frickin' be building that thing too. USAF demo F16C and A10C. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to look at 48237. Very cool, man. I like the F16. I've got one again on my shelf of doom, waiting to be finished. It's actually very close to being finished, but it was built at a stage before I got into doing any sort of washes or anything like that. So I might have to. They're coming soon. Okay, cool. Let me write that down. Write that number down. The first model I ever built. 237. All right. First model I ever built was was it Tamiya? I don't know. I think it was earlier than that. I think it was Revell or Monogram. Maybe it was Tamiya. My dad had it, and he was kind of into building models. He did some stock race cars, and he built a Huey. I think that was even our second model, was a Huey. And that F16 we built together, and I just remember it actually looked really good. I don't know how he made it look so good, because my father wasn't super into it, but I remember we got the red and the white and the blue, and I remember working on the decals with him. Yeah, and that memory, man, that was one of those memories where it's like it'll never go away. So whenever I decide to build an F16, I think I'm really leaning towards that if they have those decals available. Very cool. I want pretty much standard low vis gray color, so it's nice to have the red, white, and blue one. That's cool. Thanks for letting me know. All right. Let's get a drone in here. Okay. Check alignment here. Watched 1917 again yesterday. I don't want to tear it. What I'm looking at right now is the space in between the slime light and the lettering here. It just looks to me like the N is just writing too high. Oh, that was better. Just need to angle it a little bit. Any fans of the Alien franchise here? Some of my favorite movies, Alien and Aliens, especially Aliens. I'm of the Aliens camp. One of my good friends, he's definitely on the Alien side, and we often talk about how they're similar and how they're different and why we like them. Oh, careful. But I'm definitely from the Aliens camp. Anyway, there's a new Alien movie coming out, Alien Romulus, that I'm excited about. I'm also a big fan of the director Robert Eggers. He did movies like The Lighthouse and The Witch, horror films. And so he's got a new movie coming out called Nosferatu. It's not anytime soon, I don't think, but I'm really excited about that. All right, that looks much better. Yeah, if I were to do a channel about anything else other than model building, I think I would get into doing something about like films. Prey 2. Oh, Prey was so good. I'm a big fan of the Predator series too. Well, the first one's my go-to one. The second one, I grew up with the second one too, and so I appreciate it on a different level than I like the first Predator. The other ones, Predators, I actually enjoyed because there was so much in there that reminded me of the first Predator. And I thought it was a nice homage to the original movie. But Prey I really liked. I thought they did a fantastic job on that one. So I didn't know Prey 2's coming out. That is great. I wonder if they're dealing with the same time or the same, characters. Interesting. All right. We're looking pretty good here. It's getting there. Years later. Okay, cool. As I recall, at the end of Predator 2, there was the very last scene. A predator is handing the main character, played by Danny Glover, I can't remember what his name was. He hands him a pistol, and it was an old pistol from, I think it was like the 17 or 1800s. And so I wonder if they're going to somehow tie the acquisition of that pistol to Prey 2. That'd be pretty cool. All right, let's get the this code here, the vehicle code on the back here. These are the Tamiya tweezers, and I've added some of this material. The name of it is escaping me right now. But this product, it's kind of rubbery and is nice for making your tweezers soft, which I want to do sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to use just straight metal. So if you get a chance, that's a good product to get. All right. I'm going to put, I think, one more decal on, and I'm going to just spend some time poking the rest of these that are dry and trying to get rid of some of the bubbles. And then I'm probably going to call it a night after that. All right. Interesting. I'm going to have to look into that. Is there a trailer out, Arnell? Okay. On Hulu. Okay, cool. Good. We'll check that out. Yeah, Hulu did the first Prey, as I remember. Or at least that's where it was shown. Yeah, they did quite a good job with that. I don't know about the other Predator movies. If I remember right, actually, Predators, I think, was written and directed by Shane Black, who I have to remember if I'm thinking of the right one. Yeah, we have Disney Plus definitely in this house. Kids are watching Bluey all the time. The Predator I liked was one where I'm mixing it up now. I might be mixing up my Predators. It's not the one where there's that huge Predator, the sort of super Predator. That's I didn't see that one, and I wonder if that was directed by Shane Black. Oh, maybe Shane. I don't know. Did Shane Black do Prey? I don't remember now. Anyway, but he was in the original film, of course, and wrote, I believe, the Lethal Weapon movies. I wonder if he's involved in this one at all. All right. Ugh. This decal's going to start folding over on itself. Let's just set it down. All right, good. That'll work. All right, so it's pretty low. Let's clean up a little bit of this water. All right. Okay. Lower still. Oh, gosh. Okay. I keep touching it, messing it up. And the top of the number should line up with the seam there. It should come back just a little bit more. Okay, right about there. Get some of the water, leave some of the water there so I can refine. Try to level off. Yeah, Predator versus Alien. Yeah, I don't think I ended up seeing those, strangely enough, or you would think I would have seen those, but just never got around to it. All right. I'm checking how level the decal is based on the seam going straight across here. By the way, that seam is on the actual aircraft. It was actually the point in the model where there's separation here. The pieces were put together, and you do actually want to keep that seam there. So, yep. it a little bit here. All right, I think that'll work. Okay, so now I'm going to start poking at some of these and trying to identify any silvering and be really careful not to disrupt any that are just sitting there. All right, I've got a very sharp knife here, a new blade, and what I like to do is take the back, poke with the back end, because there's a sharper point to it there. So I'm going to look kind of at the first decals I've started with. And you can see just a little bit of glossy silvering along here. Okay. So I'm going to poke at them. I think what's happening here is there are some rivets. And I want to poke at those rivets. They're not exactly where the rivets show up on the decal, which is unfortunate, but all right. And then I'm going to set the blade and let the weight of the blade be enough. And I'm just going to drag it along. There's kind of a seam here. Drag along the decal. I'm not pressing down, I'm just letting the weight of the knife cut through the decal. All right. Good. So now, taking off a lot of excess. I don't need a lot. Just a little puddle. All right, and let that sit. I'm going to take a look at this one here. And I'm trying to angle the decal. It's not angling the same for you as it is for me, but I'm trying to angle it such that the light catches those bubbles. Okay, just a little bit right here. And I think I'm just going to add solution to the whole decal, just for good measure. All right, good. Let's go on this one here. Angling so I can see the silvering. And there's just one little dot right here. Try to poke it. All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to come back to this tomorrow, and I may see new spots. But once you start working on it, the ones that I see now and I start fixing now, they're going to be fixed forever. They're not going to, because we're going to lift back up, which is good. I'm just trying to puncture the clear part of the decal, right where that bubble is. And you may have stabbed it enough and broken the decal at that spot, but you won't necessarily see it until the setting solution has taken hold and dried. Just a few little rivet spots right here. And I want to slide across here as well. It's kind of a group of them. All right, that'll work. All right, Arnell, have a good one, bud. All right. I worked at a hobby store for years. Well, about 4 years. And he was a customer. And I recently saw him, not very recent, a couple years ago, at a model contest. and was happy to see him. It's very cool of him to stop by today. Just see a few more little spots here. All right, we'll see what happens. Oh, you know what? Now they're showing up again. These are ones right here. I can definitely see. So I already coated it with the Mark Fit Strong. So I want to stab pretty carefully. I don't want it to lift. All right, let's see. All right, that should work. And again, tomorrow I'll be able to check and see the progress. All right, I'm seeing a lot here on the Saratoga. Definitely on the Navy, of course, because that one is all kinds of contour issues. This one right here is a big bubble sitting right here. Just put a poke at it. You can also hear it too. When you puncture a decal that's sitting there with air under it, you can hear little pops. All right, this one, for the Navy one, I'm going to find the seam right here, the panel line. I don't know if you can see well. And again, I'm just going to let the weight of the knife just pull. Oh, you hear that? Pop. Yeah, I don't know if you're hearing these pops or not, but that's the decal popping, cutting, basically. Ooh, that's not good. That one dragged. All right, let's get that down. Let's do this. I've already, one seam is good, has been cut. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of, there we go. All right, that's it. I'm gonna let that sit. All right, let's go on to the Saratoga one. There's some silvering right between, I think it's part of the USS Saratoga decal, so I'm going to cut it right here. And it's on top of the slime light, which is actually underneath this is a photo etch piece. Let's do one more very light scribe. That'll do. Good. And then I'm going to poke at these other seams. I can see more around here. At the T. All right, good. I think this will actually benefit from being poked as well as putting down our first bit of solution anyway. I hadn't done that on these decals. All right, good. This one I'm not seeing any, but I'm going to put the solution down anyhow, and then we'll take a look tomorrow. That one's probably not going to have any problems. All right. Come back here. I got a couple of spots right here. I find that there are still ways to deal with silvering after the fact, even after everything is said and done. I find that oil paints, artist oil paints, that I can, if I can get down small enough, I can usually cover up those spots pretty well. Almost as if I'm just simply painting on top of the silvering. So I don't freak out too much. I am really taking my time though with these decals. I'd rather just take care of the silvering now. But I also am confident that if some has remained, then I know how to deal with it at this point. All right, I know that in this, there are these ridges here, these little, I'm not sure what to call them exactly. But on these, we're definitely going to have little pockets of air. So I'm just going to kind of randomly poke. Also a little seam line right there. Good. Yeah. All right. tops there. What also works well too is working with a scalpel. I love working with scalpels. I can start at the seam here and kind of push forward, and that allows through the decal to cut as well. Okay, the slime light looks pretty good. It's just right here. All right, good. All right, you should take a sip of alcohol for every time I've said slime light tonight. That should be our new game. For those of you that drink. My vice is coffee. I don't really drink alcohol. Not for any moral reasons or anything like that. It just doesn't, I don't know, doesn't interest me. Doesn't do it for me. All right, so a little more on this side. Yeah, these have already been broken, these decals, so I'll just continue to add the solution. All right, let's double check here, taking a look. Good, the navy one is starting, you can see it's starting to pull down into the model, which is what we want. Nothing else on that side. Yeah, looking good. It's getting there. We have probably a third of the decals on. Okay, there aren't that many. Anything else I need to think about? Let's just take one more second on this. Okay. I'm going to cut a little bit right here. Around these hinges. Okay, cool. That'll work. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope you had a good one. I'll do this again pretty soon here. One of my kids is with me during the daytime this week. But I think on the weekend I'll do another live stream. And then if not, I'll definitely do one during the daytime next week, maybe even two, because this is pretty fun. And I've got a lot of time to build. And so might as well just turn the cameras on and have a go. So, all right. Thanks again for joining. And you guys take care. All right, I'll see you.